The next question comes from Zabuza Dolph M, who asks, do you feel like replaying old games when you have a lot of games in your backlog is waste of time? Definitely not. So, this is another thing where I feel like this is a bit of a silly question, but I do understand where they're coming from. So, I've actually made a video almost a year ago, maybe more than a year ago at this point, where basically I criticized the entire idea of backlogs, because gamers that try to clear their backlogs are lying to themselves. You're not ever going to clear your backlog. I don't care how many games you have on your backlog right now. At some point, whether it happens before you die or after you die, there's always going to be games coming out that you are interested or would have been interested, but then, if you're dead, obviously you can't play them, so your backlog will just be infinitely incomplete at that point. But seriously, there's always going to be new games coming out. There's always going to be new games added to your backlog. Stop looking at it like a backlog. Okay, here's the example that I gave in the backlog video. A backlog is a stack of office papers that your boss, walks into your office, smacks down like 6 dozen folders just full of paper and paperwork that you got to get through. Say you're working an office job, and they're like, hey, you got to finish this by the end of the day. That's a backlog of office papers that you're dreading to get to. A stack of video games you want to play, it's just that. It's a stack of video games you want to play. And remember when you were a child and you were like, oh man, I really want to get this game and this game and this game, and now it's at that point where back then there was a lot of games you wanted and you had all the time in the world, you just didn't have enough money to get them. Well, now it's vice versa. You don't have as much time, but you're able to get more games. So really, don't look at it as, oh, it's a backlog, I need to min-max my time to make sure I can play all these games and beat my backlog before I die. No, you're never going to beat your backlog. There's always going to be new games releasing. There's always going to be new games that you're going to find. We talked about it in a video a couple days ago where there's literally over 5 million games that exist. You're always going to be finding new games. You're never going to beat your backlog. Don't look at it as a backlog. Look at it as your childhood dream come true. You have video games to play and entertain you until the day you die. So now you'll never have to worry about being bored. You'll always have games to play, and going back and replaying old games, if anything, I would say that that's a good thing to do. So then you can remind yourself, if you ever find yourself like looking at your backlog and being like, oh man, it's kind of stressful, like what game do I play next? You can just go back and play one from your childhood, whether it's something nostalgic or just one you've been wanting to revisit, or just playing something like Minecraft. Like, going back and replaying old games, how different is that to, playing the new Call of Duty or playing GTA Online or playing Minecraft? Like, if you allow yourself to play games like that, but then you start to question yourself for replaying older games, like, I mean, when you're playing games like Minecraft and this, that, or the other, I mean, in that case, you're kind of technically replaying old games, even if there isn't like a definitive end goal like there would be with replaying other games. So, it's one of those things where I'm not criticizing your question. I just feel like the whole mindset is silly. Really, you should just be playing whatever you want to play. Whether you're playing it for the first time, whether you're replaying it, whether it's an infinitely replayable game like Minecraft or Call of Duty, just play what you want to play and ditch the whole backlog mentality. Because honestly, the whole mentality is stupid.